great adventure needs a goal, and often that's a powerful, shiny thing that drives the plot forward. I'm Janet from World Anvil, a professional world-building consultant, published author, and game writer. And in this video, we're making the MacGuffins of your dreams. So, first of all, what is a MacGuffin? A MacGuffin is usually an object, sometimes a person, and occasionally an event, that acts as a trigger for your character's actions, something for them to chase or protect. The term was popularised by Alfred Hitchcock, who famously said a MacGuffin could be anything, as its purpose was just to motivate the characters and push the plot forward. Once the action is underway, a MacGuffin becomes secondary, or often completely irrelevant. Classic tropes of MacGuffins are the relic or treasure that everyone is after, or the villain-stopping artifact your players are questing for, and the details aren't as important as the journey. Famous examples include the One Ring, the Death Star plans, and the Holy Grail, but there are so many more. In fact, for more examples, let's get an epic MacGuffin list going in the comments of this video. Add your favourite MacGuffins in the comments and read over other people's there too. But before we continue, just a quick sidebar. I mentioned earlier that events can also be MacGuffins because they drive the plot forward. There's a trope that you want to avoid here though, called fridging. The name was coined by the amazing Gail Simone, a famous comic book writer, and it's very common in both comics and, weirdly, Greek mythology. Essentially, fridging is when a male hero's story trigger is the death, maiming, or assault of a woman. The woman in this scenario exists purely as a plot device to have violence done to her. I'm sure I don't need to explain to you why this is not great. Fridging is a complex and nuanced topic, and I don't have time to unpack it properly in this video, but I've included links where you can read up properly about this trope in the description. Stop the fridging, people! We can do better. So, enough about what not to do. How do you create interesting MacGuffins? As you've seen, they can literally be a magic rock or a holy wine glass, but there are some ways to make MacGuffins feel more consistent with the rest of your world building. After all, a MacGuffin should feel like a natural part of your setting, even if it isn't central to your character's arcs. For a magical object, make sure there's an established reason why it has power, and don't randomly insert alien artifacts if they're not established in your setting's genre. And yes, I am looking at you, Indiana Jones and the Crystal Skull. That movie does not exist. If you're stuck with this, use the item template on World Anvil to figure out where and when your object is from, what it's made of, and other rich details add depth to your MacGuffin and establish it in your world. The item template also includes links to connect your MacGuffin to in-world legends and secrets, and helps you track where your MacGuffin is on your map and who currently has it. You could also use an important document as a MacGuffin, like in National Treasure, in which case it might be a treaty, blueprints, evidence, or even a property deed. But while it's fun to surround your MacGuffins with mystery, beware of making them too central to the plot. Because while a MacGuffin is designed to get the ball rolling, it shouldn't be the only motivation to keep your plot moving. Your characters need personal stakes and relationships that are just as important as the object they're chasing. Be sure to ask yourself, why does the villain really need the MacGuffin? And how does obtaining it complete their plans? How do the heroes plan to use it? Or do they plan to destroy it instead? What alternatives do characters have to accomplish their goals? And what are the consequences of failure? For example, while the One Ring is vital to the plot, The Lord of the Rings is just as much about Frodo's struggle with power and corruption, and the friendships that help him in his quest. Sam and Frodo forever. A great way to keep your MacGuffins fresh is to subvert expectations. Maybe the MacGuffin isn't what the characters think it is, or maybe its purpose changes partway through the story. For example, in The Mummy, the puzzle box that holds the map to Hamunaptra turns out to be the key that opens the Book of the Dead. It's a 2-for-1. In Ocean's 8, Debbie's crew plan a heist for the invaluable Toussaint necklace. But that MacGuffin is just a distraction to hide their real target and frame the man who betrayed her. And remember to keep your MacGuffins simple. If your MacGuffin does 100 different things or needs 30 pieces to be completed, your players or readers may get confused or lose interest. Keep its function and purpose easy to understand, even when there's rich lore behind its origin and history. What matters is that the characters need to get it, and that need is urgent. For more MacGuffin-y inspiration and ideas, I've linked a blog post in the description of this video. Now you know what to do. Grab your mystical MacGuffin of mystery and go world build.